base in...
Baby!
I thought you said baked beans.
Baked beans!
Baked beans.
Heinz, please sponsor us.
The only podcast that is high in calories.
Low in...
Trans fats.
Trans fats.
Is that still an issue?
Trans fats?
Can we discuss changing the name trans fats?
Oh my God, we got woke so quickly. Fucking Shai's been here for 3 seconds. She's like, let's turn woke.
All right, fine. It was just a joke. I'll take that out.
My brain went into overdrive of like, have I stuck my foot in it already? Have I done something wrong?
Rye's been cancelled for
They're
his
actually
anti-trans
called,
rhetoric.
They're non-binary fats.
Yeah.
Non-binary fats. I'm so sorry.
Gender inclusive fats.
But they're the fats they're the bad fats. So I don't think we should attach those fats to any.
They're straight fats.
They're straight fats. They're straight white male fats.
Oh no! Okay, no.
Welcome to the straight white male fat podcast.
Beefy boys.
Before we get started.
Before we get started, I just wanted to, we all just want to acknowledge the custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. To say every podcast, it's important to understand and recognise that we are conducting ourselves on stolen land. Sovereignty was never ceded, treaties were never signed. And Australia is the only country in the Commonwealth that hasn't signed a treaty with their First Nations people. And we are very lucky to be able to come here every 2 weeks and as visitors on this land and do poetry, do podcasts and, share our stories and speak our truths when so many First Nations people throughout history and even up into this day have had their voices and stories silenced. And also I just want to acknowledge the Palawa people of Lutruwita, which is the First Nations people of Tasmania, and specifically Nipaluna, which is Hobart, where I unfortunately grew up.
I know we're so far off I guess change always seems far. Perhaps it seems a little closer now. But Invasion Day was really inspiring and heartwarming to see. Massive numbers.
You want to invade more? Or?
Wow. Invade the protests in a good way.
Yeah. We want the colony to fall, they wrote on the
that was the best.
Bloody vandals, fucking. I saw some rhetoric on Facebook through some Tassie folk, the Aussie flag wearing folk, and I'm like, lol.
Where'd they get it? Can't get it at fucking Woolworths.
They were just
What do you
we
even
actually
buy?
know. They were
or Kmart or Target.
I love
None
the
of
fact,
that.
I love the fact
bloody. There's a couple of people there was a dog, like a cartoon dog, with like a Woolworths sign on it, pissing on a flag of Australia, and they're like, I'm not going to Woolies, and I'm like, and they're like, we'll just go to Coles. I'm like, they're as bad as each other. Like,
if you are angry at that, if you're angry at Woolworths not selling Australia Day merchandise, then you have to become an anti-capitalist, because the only reason they're not doing it is because it's not profitable.
Yeah, I love
these
the fact,
people. I don't even know if they know what anti-capitalist means.
Yeah,
I know.
These are the same people who are shopping at these places.
Yeah,
it's the same people. On the Facebook I have, my Facebook.
Who else's Facebook do you have?
Who knows? So Meta. No, but it was like these are the same people that are going, well, you can't say anything anymore. The world's gone woke. You can't do anything you want anymore. Blah blah. I'm like, well, Woolies have just, as much as I hate Woolies for their price gouge and shit, I'm like, they're doing what they want to do. Surely you should be okay with them doing and saying what they want to do. But I was like, it's just,
these are the same people who go after woke people in the comments.
Yeah.
If what was that bakery across the street here on Brunswick Street? I won't name names, but
across
they put
the street
up
bakery.
There's a bakery across the street.
I'm not joking.
Whatever, I'll just say the baker's name, Babka. They just got new French owners, and they put up a post with the Australia Day flag on it, or the Australian flag on it. It said Happy Australia Day, and the comments were all like, "What the hell are you tone deaf? This used to be owned by a lovely Greek woman." And the guy just started fighting with people in the comments, being like, "This is, you should allow us to celebrate the day we want, and you can take your woke nonsense elsewhere." And he started fighting with everyone. Took down the post with the backlash.
Because the French at the moment aren't notorious for being anti a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no more sourdough bread for me, I guess.
No.
Well, at all, just in general.
I mean,
From
yeah,
anywhere?
yeah. I have to boycott the whole
Just
subcategory.
sourdough is racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go hard or go back to where you came from.
I'm sure there's other.
Which is home.
Yeah. Sourdough, racist. All right.
Hey, Shai's here, by the way. We didn't introduce
Hello, Shai.
Shai's on the podcast
Hello.
again.
Oh, this is Rye, and I'm Jason.
If they don't know us by now.
Yeah, but there might
Which
be.
like this colony will follow because Shy and Rye is catchier than Shy and Jason. I mean, Rye and
I nearly
Jason.
said this is Rye and this is Jai, and I was. didn't really-
Yeah, you can have it. That's not how it
We can
works.
do Shai, Ryan, Jai.
No,
Oh, actually, I like that.
I'm used to being the odd one out, and I'm going to stick with that.
Oh, so sad.
No, but there might be the one person that just stumbled on this YouTube video.
Yeah, sure.
You know, we might blow
It's a
up. on
lot
that.
of. It's a lot
like,
of work.
I know
We
that-
had 50 views on one thing recently.
50 views.
Yeah. We used to get like 300
Am I getting
plus.
compensated for this?
We used to have like 300 plus on our podcast.
Until you started putting woke bitches on it.
It has really hurt the numbers.
That's what that's what Ryan and I call you behind your back. Yeah,
Woke
That was
bitches.
bitch. No,
Let's have a woke off. Let's go.
I wouldn't.
I'm down.
Is it, okay, you go. You go first.
I actually couldn't think
Yeah,
of
I was
anything.
like, there you go.
I guess pick a topic and ruin it for.
Ruin it for everybody. Trans
How many
fats.
people
We're
can you
back
ruin
here.
As two straight white men, we
Yeah.
have an authority of.
We've already got a leg up on this game. Just by
Okay,
existing.
actually, I have something to talk about.
please, yeah,
Oh,
please,
here we go.
do.
Yes.
As two straight white men,
Yeah, sure. Represent.
how do you approach? So we're running Poets for Palestine.
Yeah.
How do you approach the discomfort within yourselves when it comes to outreach and thinking like, fuck, people might think I'm being like tokenistic, or like, how do you approach the discomfort with like not appearing authentic, or you know?
Assuming that they will think we're being tokenistic, so going going way harder than maybe necessary to show that we're not.
Yeah.
I actually think kind of the same way that we approach running this poetry night in general, though, is just like
How's that?
this is a platform for other voices. Even though Jason opens the night, but that's more like a chance to just warm the stage for other people. But
Yeah.
like, I definitely think of it myself that I only read here if it's quiet.
Yeah.
If there's other names, if there's enough names on the list,
Yeah.
that I'm not tapping in because
Yeah.
or running any events. Like we don't really put ourselves on events very often at all anymore. It used to be more so back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's, I don't know. I think elevating other voices, think of it as a platform.
Yeah. But how do you make sure you don't put your foot in it?
Oh, well,
Like, this is more a question for like out there for people who are trying to do a good thing but are scared. Like in my case, let's say I'm a cis woman, right? And recently I've been trying to work with gender diverse individuals. And I run into a lot of things where I just didn't even know I would run into. And then when I put my foot in it, the first thought that occurs, which is terrible, is this is too hard. I don't even want to try to be doing this right
Yeah.
now.
but
So like, I guess what is a way that
I
we
think
could all...
that. But I think that is that's the healthy way to be. Like it's sort of I am. If you're feeling, you're like, oh, I didn't know. Like it's that having that feeling is like, well, you're open and wanting to learn and be in that space, knowing that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Same like Ryan and I with the Poets Palestine. Yeah, like for the first one we did, it was like we're 100% like, well, I wasn't going to MC the if it was push on the shove, if I had to, because Hara was she had COVID, and it was like, well, hopefully she's okay. Otherwise, because you were in Bali procrastinating, as being, you know.
I was writing my memoir and publishing my poetry
complaining.
book. What were you
I have to
doing?
You
Right.
were
Well, I'm in a
experiencing
pool-
very
anyway,
expensive yoga.
Anyway, while
By
you were,
white people.
while you were Eat, Pray, Love in Bali, we were doing the hard yards and putting on Poets of Palestine.
How do you know about the loving part?
Oh, I don't.
Do you have a front row?
I've heard the word, and I've just
The eat, pray, love. Okay.
eat, pray. Emotions.
I wouldn't call it love, is what I'm saying.
I I think there's any love in yoga, not in yoga circles.
Oh, no. We're not done.
It's too much ego.
There's love in the beach gloves.
Beach.
Okay, sorry. I digress. Continue. Back on track.
I was petrified that if I had to MC the first part of the night, which was the main part, Poets of Palestine. So I'm like, I'm not the face or the voice that needs to be MCing. But when push comes to shove, if it had to be an MC, I would do it. But I'd still feel uncomfortable. But yeah, it's sort of now we're doing. We decided when we wanted to do a second one, is that we made sure that we networked with people, basically, people that are either affected by or know more about, situations happen in Palestine right now, and basically non-white people, and that sort of because Ryan and I were like, okay, we have. The thing with Ryan and I is that we have a night, we have a poetry night, we can find a venue, we can do all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, here we go. Here's our expertise. And then we just basically go grab a bunch of people like, do you want to do this? And my white guilt is off the charts when it comes to this.
Well, I heard someone recently say to me, like a black poet recently talked to me about something, and I said something back, and she said, well, Shai, I think the thing that you're missing is I'm not getting paid to do this emotional labor. And that just stuck with me so much because I through and through, there's things that we do and we get paid a certain amount, or we get whatever we want out of it, we see the outcome. And just there's the little points of all of the things that we have to consider. And it's like, we're not getting paid in whatever way that is, gratification, monetarily, whatever it is, to do that emotional labor, but we have to do it to create a safe space. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's an intense...
In terms of the internal conflict, I think.
Yeah.
Which I know speaking to, and now for all of my white friends, which is most of them.
Yeah.
Have seen the
I thought
guilt,
I was a friend.
The guilt.
You're
the minority in my friends.
I am the 1%.
This is where Ryan gets cancelled.
I even a smaller thing to bring it to a much smaller task is just sharing things on their stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And seeing like this conflict of are people going to think that I'm just doing this tokenistically? Am I just doing it as
white knighting
virtue
kind of
signaling,
thing,
white knighting?
But fuck, I'm gonna get cancelled for saying this.
Oh, please do. Yes,
but
we can edit it out if we need to.
Yeah, great.
No.
We're sick of you. We're trying to get rid of you.
Never cut this part out of context, but there are definitely times where I feel real shit for my good white friends. I don't even have good white friends left, but they're doing the work. They're showing up to rallies. They're posting on their stories. They're talking the talk. They're fighting at people. They're fighting with their HR to make sure that things are culturally appropriate. They're doing all of the right things, and then I see them step their foot in it without even meaning to. And they don't get the benefit of the doubt that someone like me would get.
What do you mean benefit of the doubt?
The benefit of the doubt of you're going to run into things so much more. You're going to run into a lot more walls and a lot more obstacles, get called out, get canceled.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a little bit of, at some point, it's can we ever win? I know when you're not doing it in a self-benefiting way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's
it's the price you pay for every other privilege in life. So
very good.
That's
True.
I think sticking your foot in it, just get ready for that.
Yeah.
That's been my
How do
approach.
you get ready for it?
Just I don't know how.
I think it's just be prepared. Be prepared to be humbled. It's the kind of thing. It's if you're going to stick your foot in and go, oh, well, I didn't. You go, okay, no, you're okay. No, I've stuck my foot in it, and then someone goes, well, that's not the right thing, and you go, fair enough.
Yeah.
I was trying to. So as soon as you get defensive, you're like, okay, so you don't actually.
Yeah.
You're not trying to. Because I've been waiting for more pushback from doing Pops Palestine and stuff a little bit.
Oh, I can slide into your DMs and give you some
cool,
pushback.
Thank you. I need to be humbled more sometimes. No, actually, no, I don't. Fuck off.
I can give you some anonymous adversity if you'd like.
But yeah, I think it's sort of. I think Ryan and I are pretty good at that. Was like, okay, if someone comes, slides into the DMs or whatever, and just be like, hey, whatever the topic is, and we go, well, we done fucked up or we done goofed for whatever night, and then we go, and then we work on it. And I think, you kind of just have to be ready to be humbled. Because if you get defensive, like, well, I didn't fucking mean to do that. You're like, I don't know, you didn't mean to do it, but this is what you did.
Yeah,
and like
totally.
if you're defensive, then you're not. It's more of a
no. The
virtual signal than
defensiveness,
anything,
especially public facing, doesn't make sense. The other thing I think is for me, like in when I put my foot in it, within communities that I'm new to, or maybe just an ally or an outsider in, is a safe space to vent. I know that sounds horrible, but like if I don't have my people to untangle what just happened with, then I have to do that public facingly or defensively to the person I've hurt, and that really sucks. As opposed to just being able to call a friend who's so out of it and like maybe not even in that community and talk it out and vent so that you can be less of an asshole.
For sure. I think you can voice that frustration, preferably privately and move on. But we've seen, either bigger names, or I can think of people who I know personally who have done some things.
I know you would know.
Like they trying and they stick their foot in it and then they immediately get defensive very publicly. And so I think actually also another important factor here I think is same with any kind of conversation like this when we're talking about like because this is close to I can't say anything anymore kind of situation, kind of topic, right?
Totally.
But that's online, and in reality, most people are pretty chill. Yeah. And you can, so I think it goes both ways with that. So if you see someone trying to do a good thing, you can usually read their intent. And I think people can read with us that there is intent here. There is good intent here. And so I think that's why we haven't gotten much pushback, because I feel there's a genuine intent behind it.
This is a Vibe Union complimentary podcast.
Oh yeah, no, we are very good. Yes, we're very good at what we do.
I mean, you guys put your money where your mouth is. Jokes aside, you really do. Like, what money?
We put
what money? You're like two broke girls, but with boys.
Yes, we are going to open a muffin shop. That's what they did in the show.
Just to finish my point, I think that intent goes both ways, because you can also tell when someone's intent, when they're coming down at you for fucking up. Yeah. You can usually tell, are you in it to score points, or are you in it to actually try and correct me so I can do better next time? Yeah,
if someone's coming down at you just to be aggressive, you're like, well, you're not trying to educate me in a way.
Yeah.
It's
totally.
Yeah, you're just trying to make me feel shit because you just found a low-hanging fruit to like, okay, let's just go after this person. Yeah. But I think, with...
it is hard, though, because, like, that they're triggered and, like, they're not probably coming... Like, there's, like, this book...
I have that point,
that book called Why... So You Want to Talk About Race. And she makes this really poignant metaphor in it about how when the syndrome of angry black woman gets brought up, like, what you don't realize is when you just bump into someone by mistake and she freaks out and you go, why are you such an angry black woman? Why are you such an angry woman? You haven't seen that all day she's been poked or punched and you just happen to be the last person who poked her. Mm-hmm. And so there is that of like, oh, great, I should get that there's context. They don't mean to snap and just make me feel guilty. But I take criticism terribly at first. Yeah. And so my first reaction is to like try going, and over the years I've learned to just count to 5, say I'll deal with it later, and then only try and have the conversation. But I don't know. I think something...
I'm with you. I do the same thing now. Sorry, to my best ability, I am sometimes... I think with the Vibe Union, if something happens, I message Ryan and like, I'm not feeling very good about this right now. I'm very angry. And Ryan's like, I will answer this. Message or whatever, blah, blah,
having
blah,
each other bounce
But I think I'm a lot of the time working in disability and stuff. I always in my head I'm like, okay, this. Not that I think about, okay, this person might be, every person is autistic or something like that. I'm allowed to say that. I woke. No, but like I try in my head as best as I can to be like, what I'll entertain for better use of lack of a better term, the first message and go, okay, this might be coming from trauma, exhaustion, a build up of a whole day, and then then I respond, or Rye responds, or it depends if it's personal or through Vibe Union,
or ChatGPT
whatever
responds.
it is, and if the second response
direct you to HR, we just feed your message into ChatGPT.
and it's like
make less aggressive / defensive,
and then if the second response is as like heightened as it is, like the same, you go, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's more to it than just that, like kind of, because it's sort of like, because most of the time it's like
once you de-escalate.
So you apologize, the criticisms that Ryan and I or / Vibe whatever have gotten over the past, it's always like, sorry, we didn't even know this happened, or we're doing. Or we reach out first before, because we've noticed something's happened. We've reached out to poets and stuff in the past and gone, hey, we noticed something has happened. Are you okay? Sorry that, we don't know the whole full story because, Rye's behind the sound desk, I'm emceeing. I can't get, and we heard different stories from different people. And then, the first message is sometimes very defensive. And then you're like, okay, that's the first initial going, no, this fucking sucked. And then there's a dialogue. But if it's a continuous...
back and forth, then there's no point in re-engaging.
Then it's like, well, we're sorry, like, what else would you like us... It's kind of eventually, what do you want from us?
I think something that someone said to me once that really got me, like, from, 100 to, 20, de-escalation-wise, was I was in the middle of, they were just, when someone asks you questions when you're talking about a triggering topic, it's like the more questions that happen, even if they don't mean it defensively, it just gets to you. And at some point, this guy just said, I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm trying to understand you. And it just reduced my anger levels to okay, cool. He's not doing this to antagonize me or play devil's advocate. He just wants to understand it. And I was able to say in that moment, I don't have the ability to help you understand this right now because I'm clearly feeling really frustrated, but let's talk about it another time. Yeah. But to stop and say that just made me feel like, okay,
I think, it's unfortunate that not enough people know how to say those those killer lines or whatever,
what lines?
Killer lines.
Killer lines.
Killer. Like de-escalating and good lines. I know,
unkiller lines.
As soon as I said it. Anyway, shut up. I feel attacked right now. No, but it's just some people just say that you kind of, not a lot of people know how to de-escalate or come up with a phrase or a sentence to help the other person. A lot of the times, for me, if I'm talking to people, what do you want? As someone with the tism, it's like, what are you after from me right now? Yeah. And if people are like, well, I don't know, and then I'm like, well, how am I supposed to give you what you want if you don't know what you want from me? And they go, well, I'm like, so because I'm like, I'm happy to give my best to you. Yeah. But I need to know. I need to know because
the parameters
because I need to know where you're coming from emotionally.
Yeah. Totally. And then it's like, totally. That's a really good point.
You're venting, ranting, or whatever, either about I'm involved, whatever it is, or what would you like from me? And as soon as I say that, a lot of times I don't know, and then I go, well,
think about it,
and then we can go on for the next phase of this conversation. Otherwise, you're just venting at me, and I go, cool, and then you get upset that I'm not giving you anything. Because I'm like, are you asking for advice? Are you asking for comfort? Are you asking for solutions? Are you asking for someone to listen?
Can you teach all of my ex-partners how to do that?
I am.
It's just ask, what do you need? Not advice, just to be venting. Thank you.
That's why, I've learned.
I fucking love that question.
Yeah, what do you want? Yeah.
Some people take it. I think some people get offended by it, but I like that question when someone starts.
Oh my God.
You're like, real quick. Do you want? Because I can try. I've got thoughts. I have solutions. Yeah. But is that what you want, or do you want?
Am I here as a vessel to vent? Yeah. And then once you've tired yourself out, we go. Let's now go through point by point about stuff. Yeah. Or whatever.
If that's what you want.
No, let's watch Rick and Morty after I've had 20 minutes to vent.
So it's something I struggle with because in my logical brain, I'm like, and I go, hang on, oh, wait, stop there. I know you're in the middle thing. What you could do here, and then I hate it when someone does to me, and then I'm now just eventually going, just ask a ton of questions. I'm like, where's this, blah blah blah, and then people are like, how are you autistic? I'm like, because I've had to learn about people, whereas neurotypical people don't want to learn about people.
Or tell them to come to a
because they don't feel the
night.
need to learn about people, and then I'm like, and they get annoyed and upset when sort of thing. So date the spicy people. Don't forget neurotypical people. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like they're more interesting. They have weirder hobbies and they know them more intricately than
Do
normal people.
We're like trains.
Are you neurotypical?
Neurotypical? My friends say no, but I've not been to a doctor.
What do your friends think?
Oh, he is 100% spicy.
Yeah, what spiciness do you think he has?
He's autistic.
You can't.
I can.
Just
I can.
I don't know how I feel about that line because I'm like, well, I don't want. There's nothing worse than someone who's like, I watched a TikTok and now I know that I have autism.
What's wrong with being autistic?
No, thinking that I have, thinking that I could without going to a doctor.
Yeah, no, but as I said to you, if you don't have sensory issues, it's not it's not relevant. So it doesn't matter.
Aren't we all descendants of Africa?
Were they autistic?
No, it was just one of those
Cool.
aren't we all on the spectrum? I fucking hate when people say that. I hate it. Aren't we all a little bit in the? Yeah, totally.
No,
just
we're not.
absolutely desensitize yourself to everyone's experience. Sure.
Until we can build a society that gives space for all kinds of people, then I don't think you can just say, oh, well, we're all on the spectrum. It's like, well, yeah, if those who are on the spectrum are not allowed to exist comfortably in society. Yeah,
someone's like, oh,
so
I kind of have an interest of stuff. I'm like, no, but when someone brings it up, is that all you talk about for 25 to an hour? They're like, no. I'm like, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So anyway. What was the topic of the?
I wanted to bring it back just to that question of how do you navigate this space, and everything that we've just talked about is just like overthinking everything.
Oh my God, 100%.
And I think that's.
I haven't ever thought you were autism. No.
It's such a simple thing, but it's just.
But it's a skill in that sense. Because underthinking can really harm you in that community or in those spaces. You need to overthink it. You need to research it. You need to talk to people about it. You need to talk to your one brown or whatever gay friend about it.
Just the one.
Think about it.
Just the one,
Make them do make them do the free emotional labor.
Yeah, I am really wary of that. I think that's important to find, especially close friends
Just buy me a beer.
who are there for it. And not just.
Yeah. I think we've done pretty well. Like we've managed to find a group of people that.
I'm just anticipating where this is headed. And I just want to.
I love this little bromance.
Can someone write some fan fiction about Ryan and I, please?
I will do it.
And we will read it out loud.
Yes, we will.
On the podcast.
Did you know that Ryan and I actually have a friendship outside of you now? Oh,
fine.
Dead air.
That sadness made me sad. I wasn't ready for the sad.
We're
I have
allowed
to go
to
home.
have one friend as part of Vibe Union.
I have to go home. You're good to MC for poetry tonight?
Poetry.
No.
Considered used to a fucking BFFs now.
Radio Talk is your home.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. I feel like an outsider now. Anyway.
Should we rename this a radio rant?
Until someone gets access to the Vibe Union Instagram, then they are not truly my friend.
Making notes.
Yeah, fuck you, shy. I forgot my point now because I was told.
It is a skill. It is a skill to get to that point where you can analyze everywhere where you might fucking put your foot in it, where you might go wrong, and then also be prepared to be humbled. And
that's my point.
Develop that skill.
I think you and I, when we were friends, and when Vibe Union was a thing, we become very good at.
I have the logins to everything. You can't.
When Vibe Union was a thing, and we were once upon a time very good at finding outside sources to help us do stuff.
We have the
but
we have the
now-
black and white alternate version of the logo. Like we should form
Yeah.
you should form a dark vibe union and we can compete.
Yeah, so
Dark Union.
that's going to fizzle out completely because I can't put on events. So
Yeah, you need to understand computers.
yeah, exactly. I don't. So yeah.
Without spreadsheets, this does not run.
Yeah. So
Fuck
when it was a thing,
spreadsheets.
it was really nice having
Yeah.
friends
Uh-huh.
and having a community around me and like being part of a community. But now knowing that it doesn't exist anymore, it's kind of jarring. But yeah.
But
My
is it
point
less messy that way? When it's like there's community as in the audience and like the nights you run, and then there's just the two of you rather than like everyone getting mad that like 6 people are involved, and like I don't know how this works in your world, but in many of my worlds I've had to do free labor and friends, and then
Whoa.
10 people and 8
we're
people
back.
don't do their jobs. And there's like a group project
Yeah.
where only one person is doing their fucking jobs.
This is a great full circle because
This is the DMZ right
this fight, whatever's happening, and we're just a moment of realizing,
it's
wait, we need to deal
emotional
with other
trauma
people.
now,
No,
knowing,
okay, we're
yeah.
back together, baby.
Aww.
Yeah, it's
Am
a
I a
fun-
couples counselor right now?
what
you
do
pushed
mean
it. You pushed us apart just to
I know,
bring it back
but-
together.
'Cause you-
You're stronger than
Yes.
ever.
Yeah.
because you need to make sure that I knew that you two had this weird special friendship that I wasn't
Yeah,
involved in.
that's-
'Cause
Because
I didn't-
won't come from some fucking pub
No,
to
excuse
another
me.
pub.
I made other plans, and you didn't tell me that there were other plans involved. You just said you were going to go see Rhath.
Stop
Anyway,
doing this on the podcast.
this clip will be great.
Yeah,
on
you cut
TikTok,
it
all
anyway.
right?
Who cares? This is anyways. No.
Shai didn't explain her plans properly, and it's making me feel bad for it. Anyway, yes,
Is the
right.
question that it's easier to run with fewer people or more people? Is that the question?
No, I think I already have the answer. It's easier to run with fewer people.
Yeah.
You'd rather start with fewer people and like find people who are super enthusiastic along the way, who like show up constantly, who you know are reliable and
Yeah.
gonna hold themselves accountable. Then cast the net really wide and have 10 people join and no one do their job, and you're spending all this time just trying to manage people who won't do their fucking jobs.
Yeah.
It's unsustainable.
Do you want to take this on, right?
I have zero comments on that. No, yeah, very much. I totally 100% agree. But it's a weird one of like,
It's you have to. I think you need to find that. You need to find your community and find
Totally.
what works and stuff. And then those who want to stick around do stick around, and are willing to do stuff will help do stuff.
there's a line you have to walk, I think, between as myself as a workaholic, which I hate that fucking term, but I take
Work enthusiast.
I'm a work enthusiast.
No.
I take on everything. I just say, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And it has worked out brilliantly because I have learned how to do everything that needs to be done for Vibe Union. However, then you also you're in that habit
Yeah.
of like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I'll just do that. I'll just do this. I'll do that. I'll do everything.
Yeah.
And
But you're not like that when you trust people. When you trust people to do their jobs. Because you haven't been like that on the Poets for Palestine thing.
I
Yeah.
You've
think
asked separately, you've asked on group, you've known to follow up, and like you know that whoever has said they're going to get the job done will get the job done, right?
I think that's
yeah,
something that for the Vibe Union when it existed, it was something that we're slowly starting to we've chatted about it. It's like it's slowly starting to like get more people in because it's sort of having so many branches going out. Sometimes it's very hard to keep an eye on, not keep an eye on, but like manage stuff. But yeah, we kind of working on just when we want to put on something or whatever it might be is now starting to, because I'm like right, it's like fuck it, we'll just do it ourselves. Like we want to put on a night, let's just we'll stress ourselves out for 2 weeks, do stuff, blah blah blah. When it's like, we don't have to stress ourselves out for 2 weeks. We can spend 4 weeks, get 5, 6, 7 people involved, get everything involved, and we're going, I've sent 2 messages and I'm all good. I've sent 2. The Rye sent 2 messages.
Yeah.
Everyone else has done stuff. Whereas usually back then I was like, okay, now we're gonna have to buckle down and
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Crunch-
honestly would
crunch for
rather
ages.
do that. I would rather buckle down as 2 people and just get the job done. It's different when you know it's like 4 or 5 people that you can rely on and like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
rather than like follow up, and you
where-
lose your momentum just like following up with people to do their part of the job.
So
You're
that
like,
we're
"Oh,
opening,
Yeah,
we're
for sure.
now kind of starting to realise that we're getting more people in our circle that
Yeah.
we know that we can branch out to and have things done and get things done, like the Poets of Palestine and stuff. Yeah,
I have an analogy of
I love an analogy.
of bands. I think bands are a good example of this because starting when I first was starting bands when I was like 17, 18, 19 and working with young people like myself at the time, wanting it to be that romantic idea that you see in documentaries about the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or the Kinks or whatever. Some classic bands that you think like, oh, they were all, they all came together and they're all just like, the sum of the parts equaled this fantastic, beautiful thing. But as you go on through bands, you quickly realize that it needs someone who is the driver, it needs someone who's the leader, it needs someone who is laying down the foundation, and then others can put their parts on top of it. Not always the case. Sometimes, yes, beautiful moments happen, but for the most part, I think for most projects, it has to be someone who lays down the foundation and can do everything,
yeah.
and then you can bring people on board to take on parts, knowing that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If they want to be part of it and if they want to help elevate it to a higher level, great. It's going to happen regardless, and everything's laid out. And I think that's where vibing is now. We can do everything. We do everything. And so for something like Poets of Palestine, this is a perfect opportunity to reach out to a few other people saying, like, the event's going to run. It's already, the graphics are done, the place is booked, you've written the event description, it's all happening. Now, can we all just help elevate it to that slightly higher level? And that's a lot easier than, like, let's all come together from the first time and have a bit of a jam and, you know, fucking come together as people and, like, put something together. Like, that's sort of
Never gonna happen.
chaos, madness.
Yeah. We need the thing to be we need to be seen, and someone needs to lead the thing, and then people are happy to get involved.
Yeah.
But if not, it's just like it's too much delegation and involvement, and no one's actually going to do the task.
If you're all focused, like if that's like your only thing you're doing, maybe, but that's a huge tall order from adults who are also working and have lives.
And neurospicy.
I think that helps, if anything.
Yeah, you just release the beast.
Jason's focus is actually a big asset. And mine, I guess, but
I mean, we're
Who's to
focused on
say?
different things. Yeah, because I know like Ringo Starr was very big on the Excel back in the day. You know, I think between you and I when do stuff, you just sometimes like I'm going to give Jason 2 lines of information, and then he gets
go for
4 paragraphs from me. And what we get from you sometimes as well, and then it's like
I'm not neurospicy,
and then it's it doesn't matter, and then Rya's like, I'm going to use one of the things Jason said in this thing, and that's all. And then I forget. Yeah, it's Rya knows when Rya's getting very good to know when he needs to release the beasts sometimes, and
release the beast.
and it's like, how about this? And I just drop a ton of information, and it's like, well, none of this is. And then I read through, I'm like, none of that was useful.
Yeah.
It's all just word vomit, and then he's like, well, actually, one point is well made in there, and then
I knew there'd be something.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew there'd be gold.
It's like
It had to be gold. How much time do we have?
What was it? Getting diamonds from
We'll wrap it up.
Oh, fine,
I had
sorry.
one more question.
Fine,
No.
Music by Sixpence.
No.
Thanks for the comment.
I had one more question.
Apparently you two have to be
question.
friends somewhere else. So,
Yeah,
One more
we
question.
do. Are we going to do that thing we said we were going to do without Jason after this?
don't.
No, don't be sad. Okay, cool. One last question.
I know how to be sad.
It's a huge question. We're going to try and keep it short. Okay. How do you deal with poets' imposter syndrome and not thinking your work is good enough?
Liquorland does a good $8 bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Tequila's more my jam, but you guys are poor
Wine's
people.
cheaper.
So I know, poor people, I said.
Different lives.
I have a feeling that we, as much as we're both hard on ourselves, I think we both also have a safe knowledge that we're decent writers when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know.
To give you an egotistical answer?
No, I think it's a tough one because it's the only way I feel. The only way I sort of feel bad, but I don't really feel bad anymore, is through competitions. Because like I know people but that's all subjective anyway. But also that comes down to performance and the way you speak and a ton of other factors. The stuff I told you helped you win. And
fucking hell,
which had worked, and I knew exactly anyway. We see people. No, I get imposter syndrome sometimes.
He's just lashing out because he's angry.
I'm correct. I see people come here for the first time or any other poetry night, and they're like, "This is my first time ever, nervous," and they fucking nail it, hit it out of the park. They sound like a competitor or like a world, like they've done poetry for years, and they're like, this is the first time I've ever performed. Like, how do you get that voice? How do you get that cadence and stuff, that poetic voice, when you've never done it before?
But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, okay, let's go back to Slammer. I vomited before getting on that stage.
Yeah. Oh, I saw
Katie Loner found me in the bathroom.
There was
like hunched over, hyperventilating.
The three
winners,
I'm
gonna forget everything.
The three
I can't
winners were
do
all
this.
going back and forth in the bathroom.
Right, it was not okay. It was like some people were practicing. I was like, spewing,
I loved
crying,
it. It was
not
hilarious.
good.
You found the secret.
Went in, did the thing, was just shocked and more shocked every round. And I just remember Haura and another person who was hosting it asking me at the end, "Oh my God, you must be feeling surreal. How are you feeling?" And the first words that came out of my mouth, because I wasn't even on the same, I was not on the same planet, was, "I don't deserve it." Yeah. And she since recalled that to me. That's what I said to her. I don't deserve it. I don't even remember saying those words, but I'm like, how on one of the highest moments of my life am I still sitting there thinking I've just been acknowledged by these judges and public and people clapping, and I still think I don't deserve it? What's that about?
But then you got upset you got an 8.8 when you got all nines.
When I'm in the competitive spirit, I'm a cunt.
True.
But right after, I'm sitting there thinking,
I know
shit,
this,
what are these people seeing me?
Yeah.
Because
I see that.
You can't... The only person that is ever going to make you happy about your own art is yourself, and that person is never going to be happy. I think you just have to love the process and the final, and putting it out there publicly.
Putting it out there is the hard part. I love the process.
It's the part that's like...
And I love putting it out there to people I trust.
Yeah.
I think the biggest... I think maybe the big... is if you keep doing Slammer, is the biggest test that I learned, and a ton of other poets have done as well, is when you don't get past the first round. Is when you get lower scores and you don't... Because you've won the first one, and it's that...
I mean, that was my second experience.
Yeah,
I did that slam at WordCraft, and I lost. I didn't get past round one.
So like Lane, who won Slammer last year, I remember there was one Slammer, he didn't get past the first round, right?
Yeah.
And he was good about it. It was fine about it. But it's like, everyone's like, why didn't... It's up. Yeah, it's that when you don't get to the next round, when you've won something or you've and then it's like, oh shit, I've done exactly what I've done before, and I haven't gone. These other people have gone, like they haven't judged me the same as before, and I think that's in the poetry slammer context that's the kind of, not character building, but it's kind of like, okay, well, it's not the be or end all of everything. There's some people that get high scores all the time, but it's up to the judges. It depends on.
Oh, you know what fucking drives me mad?
Many things.
Yeah. Other than that, one of the things is like meeting people who just come through with, I didn't even, like, I'm just really, like, I practiced a little bit, and like, that's just, I didn't think I was going to win, and I've got no experience. I've done none of the work. They won't say that, but that's the words that they're implying with the stories they're telling right after. And you're just like, you get to just walk around like this born poetic fucking prodigy.
But that's just
I've had to go to workshops, watch like online videos, like train myself, write every day, habit, like practice in front of my mirror, write on my mirror like a crazy person, and you're just up here like, oh.
And that's the problem. Is that some people are just.
I mean, yeah, some people can just. Some people don't have maybe the same level of imposter syndrome, but I think we can't see it in other people. It's just the fact that like I think,
Some people just have that ability to do it. It's just
but also I just think a
It's
lot.
annoying.
I think most artists do. I think like I would
No bullshit. They're all taking Valium.
not everyone.
the bar is opening,
Great.
so we are
Okay.
going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Don't take Valium or do. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what.
As
to do.
prescribed by your psych or therapist.
GP. Doctor.
I think that question to like how to get over imposter syndrome as an artist is
Don't perform.
just going to be. It's not about being an artist. It's about your own self confidence and just acceptance of being a human being. But that's way harder to deal with. That's way harder to develop over a long period of time. But I don't think I know none of us have achieved that. We all have our crippling self doubt at our times, and we have our moments of also confidence and comfortability. But
Yeah.
that's a shitty answer in a
I
sense
mean,
of like
It's not a
I got
shitty
no
answer.
answer, but-
It's a true answer. I feel like
Yeah.
what really helps me, not outside of the Slamma contest, outside the contesty things, is like coming to places like this, coming to community events where people take a moment. Like there's, it's one thing when someone comes up to you and says, "Well done, that was such a great performance." But when someone pulls out a line
yeah.
that really they loved and they recite it back to you or they show you you've written it down, you're like, I must really not be a shit writer. Like that shit fucking
It's actually
matters.
really
And
good point. Finding smaller community spaces where you can
And that's
just do it lower
that's the thing when it
stakes.
comes to Slammer. It's like, is that they go, okay, you've won. So they go, okay, show one. No matter what she says now, everyone's going to like, well, she won something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like there's the in the Knights of Buzz, like the critical part is like if you go, okay, these other people have never heard of them before, there's more critical
Totally.
stuff. Whereas like if people are like, oh, so this person's done this and that, and you start to get accolades, people go, okay, well. Whereas open mics, so where someone draws out a line,
Yeah.
it's like, well, no one knows who this person is.
Yeah,
Except
you're right.
When
It's so
except when
true.
I embarrass Lane and tell everyone he's. Anyway, we're wrapping it up.
Okay.
Music by Sixpence, and
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
subscribe, like, comment.
Subscribe to donate to our Patreon.
Yeah, talk about-
This laptop, I'm going to start stressing this, is that the laptop is on
dying,
its last legs.
and it's a vital
Last
laptop.
legs, yeah, we need money.
Podcast is not going to last much longer without a
February.
laptop.
February, please come to the Poets of
I
Palestine.
don't want
Oh,
to.
shit.
Yes,
Come on.
Poets of Palestine,
Link is in the
21st
description. Yeah,
of
yeah.
February at Darling Grace in Collingwood.
Grace Darling.
Grace Darling
Grace
in
Darling,
Collingwood.
Darling
Let's
Wood.
try that again. Poets for Palestine, February 17th at Grace Darling in
21st.
Collingwood.
February 21st.
Fucking
Well
hell.
done. Well done.
Okay, February 21st, Poets for Palestine at
It
Grace
will
Darling
be-
Hotel.
Everyone who's listening to this
In
follows us on
Collingwood.
Instagram. They will see.
They'll
No,
follow
not
it and see it.
everyone.
And then in March, we're going to
It's your
host.
mum. No, she
In
follows
March,
us on Instagram.
when your mom follows us.
She likes
Great.
every story we put up. It's great.
Well, I mean,
Hello,
there's gonna
Mom.
be- Hello,
She-
Mom. Hi, Jason's mom. Thanks for doing such a good job. Am I sucking up, right? Cool. March.
Not with me, just
Cut
helping
this
us
part
out.
out.
yeah.
March, we're going to
21st.
host Funny for a Poet. And it's going to be a combination of funny poets and poetic comics.
Are we doing something for that?
We're going to promote it.
We'll promote other
promote
things
it.
on other podcasts.
Other
'cause I
things
can't
on other
remember off the top of my head.
podcasts. But Funny for a
Wasn't there
Poet. It's going to
something-
be great.
Okay.
You got something?
Wasn't this?
Are you?
what-
Oh, yeah. You're definitely going to do something.
No. Was
yeah.
it? Okay. Turn this
Music
off.
Okay,
by
bye.
Sixpence.
What's-